Hey everybody, welcome back to Shift Your Saturdays. I'm Thomas, your host for this week's video, and we're getting toward the end of our first Q1 90-day sprint. You've been following the videos, following the channel over the past 11 or 12 weeks. We've been walking you through the entire process you need to come up with to start building that business, start really building that income producing asset that's going to give you the financial freedom that ultimately everyone is looking for. So in this week's video, we're going to be talking about working through your funnel and helping you understand on a quarterly level how to review what your business or your income producing asset is doing, and most specifically, what we need to do to fix it. So at this point, gone through this about 90 days on the channel. Question to you is, did you hit sales goal? If yes, awesome. Way to go. Congratulations. We're going to talk about how you scale what's working to grow upon that. If you didn't, don't worry, don't panic. We're going to be able to review this and help you figure out what you need to do next. And this is actually the most valuable moment in the business journey, because now you get to kind of play detective in a sense. What I'm going to show you how to do within this video is work backward through your funnel to figure out where things broke, or more importantly, what you need to work on next. And here's why this is so important / helpful. All of these fixes are actually compounding, right? So if you fix the right thing first, every single improvement down the chain actually ends up multiplying your results. If you fix the wrong thing, not only do you run the risk of not getting, commensurate results, you actually could break it. So this is where we really want to be specific and focus on what it is we're doing and evaluating to fix our business, to fix our income producing asset, and improve upon it accordingly. So here is what we want to figure out right now. Number one, you either need to celebrate, you either need to diagnose, but we are not going to make excuses, right? Ultimately, what we need to see right now is, did we hit our goal for the first quarter? If yes, the first thing we need to figure out is what worked? What specifically did well, right? And we want to make sure we can put ourselves in a position ultimately to then add inputs to scale the business. Right. So what I mean by that specifically is, if you have a proven offer, if you have customers, if you're making money, if you're profitable, this is where we can actually talk about advertising to start leveraging your resources, to start leveraging appropriately and scale the business accordingly. Right. If it didn't work, if you didn't hit your goals, that's okay, because now what we want to start looking at is, what do we need to work on first? Right. So this example, let's say you just wanted to make, $5,000 within your first business, but you only made two. Okay. Number one, we made money. That's great. But let's figure out, where did it break? Right. So this is the most critical thing, that when we work a funnel backwards, right, where we start the diagnosis part, we don't start at the beginning. We don't start at the lead generation or the prospect piece. We're actually going to start at the very end. And what that means is we want to focus on the conversion rates, right? Because ultimately, more leads won't help your business if you can't close the ones you already have, right? So this is where we want to look at, your sales calls and your close ratio. Okay? Number one, if you didn't hit your revenue goal, what was your close rate? Ultimately, industry standards is, say 25 to 30%. If you didn't hit your revenue goal, but you're closing it over, say 50%, you're charging too little. So if we make that fix and start charging more for the service we're providing, that should then help us in Q2 evaluate what we need to do, and then be able to see if we can hit our goal in the next 90-day sprint. If we're closing under 25, if we're closing at 10%, 5%, whatever, then we need to focus on specifically the actual close itself. What are we saying during our closing process? What is broken ultimately in that conversion piece? Because if we can increase the number of conversions you're making, if we can go from 10% to 20%, now we've doubled the revenue within the business, and actually probably had a compounding effect. So this is the point where if we didn't hit our sales goals, we immediately look at our conversion rate of our sales calls, right? If we're converting over 50%, we need to increase the prices. If we're converting at less than 20%, we need to work on our close. Now, let's say at this point, we hit our sales goals and we're closing at, say, 25%. Okay. In this case, then what we need to do is then take a step back. Okay. We had enough sales calls, right? But did we have enough, or we're converting well, but did we have enough sales calls? And ultimately, if you're converting at an industry acceptable rate, but you're not getting into the sales goals you're looking for, you probably need more leads. So now the next question is okay, well, did we have a good conversion rate, but we missed our goal? Probably have a volume problem now, right? So in this case, where were our leads coming from? Specifically saying is, where all were we promoting our message or promoting our service or doing what we need to do ultimately to be able to get people to come into and potentially work with us, right? One of the challenges I see here is that people don't do enough marketing, right? And ultimately in this regard, what we tell people or what I tell people that I work with is marketing is never over, right? Marketing is this idea of ultimately what next, right? So you can say, hey, yeah, over the course of the past, 90 days, we reached out to everyone on our cell phone and told them about our offer. Great, good work. What next? Some people may say, hey, we put our business, we did some social media advertising on LinkedIn and TikTok and Facebook. Awesome. What next? Ultimately, marketing at its core level is about asset relocation and asset allocation. Where are you spending your time and money to get in front of the most number of people who are highly involved in or receptive to your actual message itself? So then that way, if we realize that, we're closing at a decent rate, we just don't have enough leads, we then know what we need to focus on specifically next. Again, this gets back to the main idea of if you fix the wrong thing within your business, it can have devastating effects. So what I mean by that is, let's use this example here. Let's say I'm converting only at 10% of the sales calls I actually get. My focus should not be actually getting more leads, because ultimately from the leads to the next step in the funnel of that sales call, we're not actually fixing the thing that's going to have the biggest impact for us, right? I could go out and get double the leads, but if I'm still having the same conversion rate, the efficiency is not going to be where I want it to be. But if I can take that 10% conversion rate to 20%, to 25, maybe even 33%, right? To go from a 10th to a 5th to a 3rd, I'm putting out the same amount of outputs, or the inputs to get those leads, but they're becoming much more valuable because I'm getting better with the funnel itself, right? But if we don't take the time to diagnose, actually look at the funnel and see what's working along all the different steps, then we run the risk again of being inefficient. So in this case, if I didn't know what my close rate was, I just thought I needed more sales calls, I could be dumping a ton of money into lead gen that ultimately wasn't going to be helping my business grow as effectively as it could be. And again, this all gets back to leverage, and this gets back to efficiency. In one of our previous videos, we talked about, working in your business versus working on your business. When you're going back and reviewing your marketing campaigns and your funnel and all the systems and processes you put in place to see how efficient it is, that's working on your business. And that is time well spent helping you develop the cash machine or business income producing asset that you're looking for, ultimately to get that time freedom that you want and that everyone who watches this channel ultimately is in search of. So at this point, what I'd love to hear from everyone right now, what's the biggest challenge you had over the first 90 days? Was it conversions? Was it lead volume? Was it something else? Ultimately, we would love to hear from you and see what it is that our future content might be able to help you with appropriately, and build the community as whatnot. As always, if you like this video, if you got something out of it, you found it inspirational and educational, please like the video, share it. Also consider subscribing to the channel. We try to put out stuff every new Saturday in an effort to help people shift their Saturdays appropriately. But most importantly, if you want to learn more, go to shiftyoursaturdays.com. We have a number of resources, events, workshops, things like that can help take this conversation to the next level with you. And would love to see what we can do and help you on your path to get that financial and most importantly, time freedom that you're looking for. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.